The world can listen to us talk about Judge Shirley, so that's fine.
And Justice Tufty won't be here either. He's in another meeting through the lunch hour. So.
Ouch, I guess it's just, Judge Matson, I guess we might come on then, huh?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, so he might pop on. But if you want me to get started, I can.
I don't think we need a quorum for anything, so I'd ask that you get started.
Okay.
I mean,
All right, so this last week, what happened? So 1121, that's assault on a healthcare worker, and that's come up in past sessions also, and that got a do not pass. The spousal support bill got a do pass. Rob Stock had come and testified and wanted it to be applied to past support orders as well, but they did not adopt that amendment. The state ICWA bill 1536. So it's looking like it's going to be amended back to the original bill rather than just the study with the placement preference. So it'd be the whole codification with DHHS amendments to take out like those status offenses and things that we don't have anymore. So there's committee work on that next week. So that's what I'm anticipating is going to pass out of committee. 1138 is the mental health court, and that got a do pass and has been re-referred to appropriations. 1289 is waiver of fines and fees upon completion of drug court, and that got a do pass and re-referred to appropriations. 1285 is the bill to prohibit agencies in the court from putting in bills without legislative sponsors. And that hearing was this morning. The committee's questions made me think they're not super supportive of it, at least Chair Roars and Senator Lee. Senator Estenson seemed to be in support of it.
okay.
Let's see. The primary seatbelt bill got a do not pass. 1341 is the gun study, and that got a do pass. We still have no vote on 2047, which is exempting us from the definition of meeting in the open meetings law. I assume it will happen next week. House Judiciary is just set for, it just says committee work on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I assume that a vote will happen one of those days, because they're apparently done with hearings on bills. 2296 is the judicial deference bill to do away with that for the admin appeals. And that has been amended to a study. So we shouldn't have any changes until maybe after next session. Unless something happens in conference committee, but then the budget. So they passed out the budget from Senate Appropriations Government Ops with a 6.4 increase for all employees, including judges and justices. That will go to conference committee. So hard to say where exactly that will end up. Let's see. That's about all for this past week. The week coming up, 1267 is up. That's the disposition of proceeds from tax lien foreclosures. Where last session they put in the clerks as having to take the deposits of the funds that are in dispute. And now they want to take that out and just have all remaining amounts just automatically go to the county. That's the one that Justice Tufte noted. A similar bill out of Minnesota is at the US Supreme Court to rule on the constitutionality of that. So I did alert Legislative Council of that in case they want to do something with it, but we'll see what happens. Then 1289 is, which is the waiver of fines and fees upon successful completion of drug court, is has hearing in appropriations. As does the mental health court program. Those are on, that's on Tuesday. The reimbursement for a finding of self-defense has been scheduled again now for Tuesday. That's House Bill 1213. So looking forward to that one to see if they've made any decisions on where that money is supposed to be coming from. 1277 is the suspension of participation in the 24/7 program for 6 months preceding completion of drug court. That one is up for hearing on the 29th at 9 a.m. So that would be Wednesday.
Will you let me know how that turns out?
Yep.
Thank you.
Those are my highlights for next week. Any others that anyone wanted to talk about?
It's kind of a relatively calm last week and this next coming up week.
Yeah, we're kind of winding down, so.
Judge of the week, anything we should be watching out for?
Not that I'm aware of. I pretty much rely on Sarah for that. Though I was gonna ask Sarah with the budget
Yeah.
bill, was there some provision for judicial or not judicial, but staff bonuses or something like that? There's some
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
So they put in so in the executive branch, they're giving an equity increase to staff attorneys and IT. And so they put in the House an equity increase for staff attorneys and IT in the judicial branch to mirror the executive branch. So I'm guessing that's what you're referring to.
I just heard discussions about this from other people, so I didn't know what it was about, so that's why I asked you. So I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm trying to say.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
no actual bonuses. We don't get those.
So Sarah, how do they define staff attorneys on?
I don't know if they did. So not entirely sure.
Because we do have a number of attorneys who are law clerks.
Right. I think it's those who are like your full-time permanent position staff attorneys. Probably not like the temporary law clerks.
Of a 2-year,
Yeah.
1 2-year. Then the other question would be, it's discretionary then with the Supremes? If it goes through,
Whether to give that,
right?
I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion about it. So I suppose that will be up to, I don't know, the higher level people than me to figure out after session. Like Dawn. I have to rely on Dawn for all the intricacies of the budget.
Okay.
Because when you actually look at the bill, it's not that helpful. So that's what I know.
Regarding 2184, which is what, Tuesday afternoon at 2:30 for
Oh.
hearing.
Yeah, so 2184 and 2249, and then there's also a House Concurrent Resolution 3025. I
Okay.
believe it is. Not 25, 23. So all of those are regarding licensing stuff. And 2184 is one to put everyone under the governor. So including the State Bar of Law Examiners. And 2249 is a study where the labor commissioner would meet with every licensing board, including Board of Law Examiners, to come up with how we can be more efficient and then propose legislation. And then the House Concurrent Resolution is a study on alternatives to the bar exam, including the diploma privilege.
So then with the Board of Law Examiners currently, are they independent? Or the appointments are subject to what, for the Board of Law Examiners between multiple governmental agencies, or branches?
The executive and legislative don't do anything, like they don't have any input on our licensing currently.
I mean, on the board.
Oh, the
And
board.
the composition of the board.
I have to look at that statute.
And how would this affect CLEs or
Oh,
requirements?
well, Senator Hogue wants to do away with CLEs.
And I suppose that other states have already done that too then.
Well, he keeps talking about Arizona's universal licensing, but that doesn't include attorneys.
Yeah, South Dakota's long been a non-mandatory CLE state, but they put on CLEs and they are well attended, which has continued to justify their non-mandatory CLE status. That's what I've been told.
Okay.
So
What's the basis for not wanting to require CLEs?
He kind of seemed to think that they take up too much time and aren't always worthwhile. And aren't necessary.
maybe you ain't going the right ones.
That he thinks attorneys are always doing continuing legal ed by reading Supreme Court opinions.
Hmm.
I don't know.
So I guess I'm just wondering, in regard with whether it's 2184 or any of the others, on the composition of the Board of Law Examiners, and also in terms of if, I mean, there are some things that are done right now. I know that we've experienced military spouses coming in, being able to practice law in North Dakota.
Well, that's
under-
something that they already did, was the trailing spouses.
Right,
and they want to expand it greatly.
Okay. In what ways?
That to make it easier to get licensed here without taking a bar exam, to if you're licensed in your home state, then you can come here and just have to do like the character and fitness and just get licensed. And he wants that to happen within 3 business days.
Character and fitness in 3 business days?
I guess so. Yeah, so right now it's a study to determine if that can be done and how it can be done. And the State Board of Law Examiners, they're appointed by the Supreme Court.
By the Supremes, okay.
Yep. So, and they're appointed from a list of nominees submitted by the Bar Association. So yeah, I don't know how all that's gonna turn out. We weren't even included in 2184 until just recently with the Hog House Amendment that was brought.
By we, you mean the State Board of Law Examiners?
Yeah, yep.
Well, it sounds like if they go forward with the study, it'll give the State Board of Law Examiners an opportunity to tell their story and to, you know, what they're proud of.
Well, it depends on how 2184 turns out, because that one, if the Hog House Amendment goes through, that won't be a study. But I think they're going to discuss them together. So I assume they'll be kind of rolled into one.
Okay. Looking at your summary, the way I read it, the Senate turned it into a study, and then you talk about a Hog House Amendment. The Hog House Amendment was on the House side. Then is that what you're saying?
Yes. It hasn't been adopted yet.
Okay. But I thought the Senate had passed that over. That was part of what the Senate had passed over, but that's
no.
House.
Sorry. Yep.
Okay.
I think, so they tried to do some of this in the Senate, but they just made it the study. And then the Hog House was brought again when it crossed over to the House. And now it contains the Board of Law Examiners as well. So.
And so it's under IBL.
Yep.
How long does character and fitness take now? About 6 weeks? Or?
I'm not sure. I think a good part of it is waiting on the background check from BCI. And that's for all of these boards that have to wait on these background checks.
Yeah, I know that Justice Tufty and I had a exchange at this meeting some time ago. I know it's his position that this is properly within the executive branch's purview to regulate lawyers, but I guess it was always my impression that it's the province of the Supreme Court to regulate lawyers only.
So what the constitutional provision says is it's within the right of the judicial branch, except as otherwise provided by law. And so I think that's what they're going with.
Yeah.
It seems like it's more appropriate done, within the judicial branch.
Well, I just wonder what that exactly means, except as otherwise provided by law.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand how there is a theory that means that they can legislate regulation as to lawyers, but I don't know. I mean, at some point, it seems to me there's some inherent authority of the court, but
I mean, they did create the Board of Law Examiners.
Sure.
Within the Supreme Court. So
Right.
Presumably you could make people get their BCI background check before the application and provide that, right?
maybe.
Well, I think that's what's gonna end up happening. You know, that's the funny thing about all this is people are looking for workarounds because they don't like how long it takes to do it, or the fact they're licensed in a million other states and they can't just come here and practice. But there are gonna be workarounds. I can't imagine a regulatory scheme put in by any branch of government where they're gonna say, well, you got 3 days, and if you have no background check, well, we're gonna license you anyways. You know, I can't imagine that. I mean, that's contrary to the protection of the public when it comes to people that want to practice law here.
I think it comes back a bit to the scope of regulate, what are you regulating to
Right.
in terms of what the judiciary may have versus what the executive, what the legislature would give the executive. There may be overlap and there may be separate areas. That old Venn diagram argument.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. What is that on Tuesday? You said?
Yes. Yep. Committee work. Or they'll discuss both the bills at the same time. So that's why I think they'll probably be rolled into one. Because they can't have, all of these, because right now the Commerce Department is already doing some of these studies. So then you're going to have, and they've said that they'll probably continue that work. They have this task force, but then 2249 is under the labor commissioner and 2184 is under the governor. So they'll have to pick a place.
Are they talking medical licensing too, I wonder?
Yes, all of it. Pretty much any licensing body would be brought under this.
I see.
Yep.
Has there been much contra testimony to this?
Yes,
Oh, good, okay,
including Petra did testify in opposition.
okay. And I imagine there's a number of other boards that would have.
Right.
Sarah, was Petra's testimony on the House or the Senate side?
So on the Senate side, Scott Porsborg testified on behalf of Board of Law Examiners. And on the House side, Petra testified. No one testified on the Senate side on 2184 for Board of Law Examiners because we weren't involved at that point.
Makes sense.
So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it will just become a study and nothing, that goes into effect yet. To see if it's even feasible for every board to be administered by one agency.
In what agency are they proposing?
The governor, the Labor Commission, or Commerce Commission, or Commerce Department.
And how
All
many
three are in the
boards?
mix.
How many boards would that be?
I thought I heard someone say around 60. The labor commissioner testified on the Senate side that he didn't think he needed additional funds or people to do all of these meetings. But now on the House side, he does want some people and money. So.
You might need some people to do 3 days for all the people I mean, right after law school graduation, maybe.
Well, and this would just be to do the study because the labor commissioner is tasked with meeting with every single board and discussing how the licensing can be made more efficient. And whether CE requirements are needed, that sort of thing, and then propose
Oh, just for the
legislation.
study, I see, okay.
But still, I mean, that's a lot of meetings to have.
Yeah.
So. Yes, and the goal is licensing within 3 business days. And revision of CE requirements for all of these various professions. I know that Petra did speak with Representative Ista. He's on the resolution to study the alternatives to the bar exam, and he was open to making some amendments to that resolution so it's not so focused on just diploma privilege. Because the bar exam is going to be revamped, is the plan, to make it more geared towards the practical. So that was good. Because I don't think anyone consulted the Board of Law Examiners before any of these things, so. It was a surprise.
I'm sorry I came late. Justice Tufte, he's not here. He's not
Nope,
attending.
he has another meeting over the lunch hour today.
Did he get his wife towed?
I think so.
Good.
Yeah, the weather has not been good this winter. So
That's an understatement. Yep.
I know. We might beat the record yet in Bismarck for snowfall.
Well, is that all we had?
That's all I have.
Anybody else have anything else?
Not for me.
Not for me. No.
Okay, then I'm gonna go
Thank
listen
you,
to
guys.
floor session.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Have a good
Bye.
weekend.